So from 17th onwards, again we'll do a small recap again. Yastvatmarati devasya, third chapter, 17th verse onwards. Yastvatmarati devasya. Yes, it's opening. Yastvatmarati devasya atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. Till 16th we saw, from 10th verse to 16th verse, how karma kand is purified, and the purification of karma kand means it should come to the platform of karma yoga. That is how, in the 10th verse we saw how Krishna, along with the sacrifice, he has created the population, he has created the sets of demigods, and then the bodily maintenance and all, everything will be supplied, whatever required, that will be supplied by the demigods. Then we saw how there is parasparam bhavam between the devatas and the naras. The more the naras please the devatas, devatas are also very happy, and they can even give the highest benefit, and the highest benefit is liberation. According to the devatas, the highest liberation benefit is what? Liberation. But actually, what is liberation? Liberation means situating ourselves in our own swarupa. So devatas have the capacity even to give Krishna. So devatas, being pleased with the sacrifice, will bestow on you the desired enjoyment. They can give material enjoyment also, and if a person really wants to progress in devotion, they can bestow onto them even the devotion also. And then one who eats the remnants of sacrifice, they are free from all the sins. The 13th verse says that. And the 14th verse, that how the sacrifice is arising from the prescribed action. Whatever we eat, whatever strength we want, we get from the food. This food comes from the rain, and the food comes from rain, and the rain comes from sacrifice. And this sacrifice is dependent on our prescribed action. Now, these prescribed action, they come from the Vedas. 15th verse says this. They arise from the Vedas. Now, Vedas are given by whom? They are given by Lord Himself. So, Krishna is personally situated in all the sacrifice. In 16th verse, Krishna says that one who does not follow the rules and regulations given in the scriptures, they will be only leading a life full of sin. That is why he who does not follow the cycle initiated in this way by the Lord Himself, he will only lead a life of sin. 17th verse onwards, Krishna is giving how there are examples, there are so many wonderful people who have set an example to perform this Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama means without any desire, performing action. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Wherever this word yoga comes, yoga means connecting oneself. Karma, through the action, connecting oneself to Krishna, or centralizing Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center, and performing all the activities without expectation of any result. That is known as Nishkama Karma Yoga. Sometimes there is a wrong understanding between karma and karma yoga. People say, oh, Krishna has told to perform karma. In no place Krishna has told perform karma. Though the verse goes, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, but that verse is not for performing activity. That verse is for performing Nishkama Karma Yoga. It is just not activity. It is activity keeping Krishna in the center and without expectation of any result. Now, there are people like Janak Maharaj who have set an example to how to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. They are also known as the actions done or prescribed actions. In Chaturvarnyam, there are prescribed actions. Everybody has certain duties to perform, but these duties without expectation of any result. So, there are people like Janak Maharaj who have set this example. Now, 17th verse, it is like, for a person who is always situated in his self, There is no prescribed duty. Now Krishna is telling perform Nishkama Karma Yoga, but in this 17th verse Krishna says a person who is enjoying his self or who understands the nature of the self, the nature of the Atma. What is the nature of Atma? It is ageless. Body ages. The soul is ageless. The body performs sin, but the soul is sinless. The body dies, but the soul is deathless. Body feels hunger. There is hunger. But for the soul there is no hunger. The body sometimes grieves, but there is no grief for the soul. The body sometimes feels thirsty, but there is no thirst for the soul. The body, if he wants something, then it is not necessary that he is going to get it. There are many desires. It is not necessary that every desire will be fulfilled. But the Atma has the capacity to fulfill all his desire. So, the power of Atma, just see the power of Atma. What are the characteristics of Atma? It is ageless, sinless, deathless, without grief, no thirst, no hunger, and all the desires can be easily fulfilled. So, they are the characteristics, it's according to the Upanishad. The 8 qualities, ageless, deathless, without grief, without hunger, without thirst, all the desires can be fulfilled, and always blissful, the main characteristic. We cry for small things, isn't it? The body cries because the body is demanding something. If it gets, wonderful. If it doesn't get, then we get angry, then we cry and all. But the soul is always blissful. So one who has seen the nature of himself, the nature of the soul, is always blissful. Now for that person, there is no prescribed duty. Yastvatmaratirev syat atmatriptascha manava. He is always satisfied. Why you perform some duty? Because you hanker for something. There is always an expectation from the activities whatever we do. But this person has seen the nature of Atma. That is why he is always satisfied. For that type of people, Atmanyevacha santushtas. He is always santushta. Santushta means he is always happy. He is always satisfied. Tasya karyam na vidyate. For him actually there is no work. Because we perform work, there is expectation behind. That is the reason we perform so many activities. But a self-realized soul, what is the meaning of self-realization? One who has seen the nature of the soul with all these 8 qualities. One who knows, I am actually deathless, I am sinless, I am always blissful. Why should I hanker for all the things? What more I want? Actually, I don't have any thirst. I don't have any hunger. So, no amount of food or water is going to satisfy Atma. No amount of jumping here and there or maybe dancing and singing is going to satisfy a soul. The soul has complete satisfaction only when it understands its own nature. The soul is entangled in this body, and because of bodily demands, sometimes the soul considers the bodily demands to be its own demand. Because we consider sometimes out of ignorance the body to be the soul. But the soul on its own has no demand, is always satisfied. Because the nature of the soul is there is no thirst, no hunger. So a person who is always situated in his self, that is always self-satisfied, for such a person, the nature, because he has the inherent knowledge of the soul, that is the only reason he is always satisfied. There is Atmatruptaha, and he has no hankering for anything. This 17th verse speaks that. 18th verse says, Naiva tasya krutenartho na kruteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vipashriha. Now, previous verse what it was? He knows the nature of himself, that is why he is always satisfied. For him there is no work. So, na eva tasya krutenartho. he gains no result by performing, or he is not hankering for any result if he is performing some activity. For him there is no activity, we have already discussed. But sometimes he performs activities, prescribed actions. But that should not be considered as the duty done by a person who is not yet self-realized. A person who is not self-realized, he has many prescribed duties. Especially, he has to fulfill the demands of the devatas. He has many ritualistic ceremonies or activities to perform. Those who are not self-realized. Those who are not self-realized, they have many obligations to be fulfilled. Devarshi, Bhutapta, Nrulam, Pitrulam. Only when a person, na kinkaro nayam runicharajan, when he is not servant of all these people, Devata, Rushi, Pitrulam, when he is not obliged to them, when he is completely surrendered to Krishna, Sarvatmana yah sharanam sharanyam. When he is completely surrendered to Krishna, he has no duty to perform. But sometimes he performs. Sometimes he performs duties. But it should not be compared to the duties performed by a person who is not yet self-realized. Because a self-realized soul performs an activity without any expectation. At the same time, na chasya bhuteshu, na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschit artha vipashriyam. So it is said here, he may perform a duty, and while performing the duty, he has no purpose, no reason, nor has he any reason for not performing such duty. Somebody may ask him, why are you not performing this duty? According to the calendar, today is such devatas worship. Why are you not worshipping? He has no reason for not performing. And suppose out of something, okay, he has performed Ganesha's puja, he has done. Is there any artha behind? No, there is no artha behind. He may go to a Ganesh temple. He may go to some Satyanarayan puja. He may perform also. He may not perform also. He is not obliged. He may do it. He may not do it. Sometimes people keep Ganesh Pandal programs. At the time, devotees go do kirtan, do some pravachan there and come back. Now the question may arise, why devatas worship should be done? So, a person who is not self-realized, he is obliged to do devatas worship. Because then, if they don't do, devatas consider them as thief. Because all the things what they require, sense gratificatory things or whatever required in this material world, it is provided by the devatas. Devatas are responsible to provide the necessities of life as ordained by Lord. Again, he is under the Lord only. But he is responsible to give. Now, after getting, a person is not remembering devata, then what happens? Devatas are very angry with that person. And that is the time they inflict punishment to that person. But a person who is self-realized, who knows that he is servant of Lord, to such person, devatas pay obeisances. It is said, devatas like those persons who are self-realized. Even devatas, they stand folded hands. It is said, devatas love such person who is completely surrendered to Lord. One place it is said like that. Another place it is said, devatas are opposed to the knowledge of Atma. Because a person who has knowledge of Atma, they don't care devatas, isn't it? They don't worship devatas. They are actually opposed to the knowledge of Atma. At the same time, they are happy also with such people who have knowledge of Atma. At least they don't come and trouble the devatas, give me this, give me that. Because even devatas, their Aradhya Bhagavan is Krishna. When they are meditating on Lord, the conditioned soul goes and asks some sense gratificatory things. They find it very disturbing. So devatas, at one place it is said they are opposed to the knowledge of Atma. True. They are opposed means to the persons who have the knowledge of Atma, They don't inflict any punishment even if he doesn't perform any prescribed duty, because he is directly in connection with Krishna and he is worshipping Krishna directly. It is considered, Krishna is considered to be the root, and the devatas are considered to be the twigs, the branches, the leaves, the flowers, the bulbs, the fruits. But if you water the root, naturally the whole tree is nourished. In the same way, one who worships Krishna, everybody is happy. Sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam paharutya kartam. In this way, he can give up all his prescribed duties on one condition. What is the condition? Sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam. Completely he surrendered to Krishna. Not out of laziness, oh I don't want to perform prescribed duty, then I can call myself a devotee. No. Devotee means one who has completely surrendered to Krishna, then that person is a devotee of Krishna. For that person, even devatas do not expect any prescribed duty. Now in 19th verse, Tasmadasaktah satatam karyam karma samachara asakto yacharan karma param apnoti purushah. Tasmad asaktah satatam karyam karma samachara. As a matter of duty, the self-realized person is performing a work. But asaktaha, without any attachment for the result. Tasmad asaktaha satatam. Every time, satatam means constantly. Whenever he is performing a duty, he has no attachment for the result, because he has attachment for Krishna. When you have higher attachment, automatically lower attachment vanishes. So he has no lower attachment. Asaktaha yacharan karma. Those who are performing such type of work, for them Krishna is easily available. Param apnoti purushah. He can easily achieve Krishna just by performing duty without expectation on any result. This can only happen at the platform of love. Only at the platform of love for Krishna, such type of work can happen. Sometimes a person may say, oh, I am performing duty, but I don't have any expectation from my children. Even that is also a pride. That is also a type of ego. I don't ask anything from my son. I have grown him up. In fact, I give so many things to my son, but I don't take anything, even a single rupee I don't take from my son. But that is also what? That is also ego only. That is not at the platform of love. That is at the platform of a false ego. Who is father? Who is son? Who is father? Who is son? Okay, in this birth, father and son. In past birth, who was father? Who was son? So taking a pride with something which is actually temporary. Son is temporary, father is temporary. Relationship between the son and father is also temporary. And taking a pride out of such a temporary relationship and thinking that I am not expecting anything from anyone, this temporary existence and temporary the temporary pride in the things which is temporary, all these things has no meaning. That is not called Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga means connecting everything to Krishna and not taking any pride from the work we do, not considering ourselves to be the cause of the work, not having any attachment to the results of the work also. That type of work if a person is doing, then that person is eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. He can easily achieve Krishna because he is always doing work for Krishna. Now, Vedic rituals like the prescribed sacrifices are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification. But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result but acts on behalf of Krishna alone. He engages in all types of activities but is completely non-attached. His consciousness is so pure. He is transcendental to the reactions of bad or evil work. So that is why he is doing any activity. When he is doing any activity, he does it on behalf of Krishna. He knows that he is only a tool in the hands of Krishna. Now Janak Maharaj, who is father of Mother Sita. So Janak Maharaj, who has got the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself as son-in-law. Now for such a person who is so self-realized, what can be any other work for him? Karmanyeva hi samsiddhim astitah janakadayah loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Now Arjuna may ask a question that you say that for a devotee, for a person who has seen the nature of Atma, for such a person there is no work. Just because he has understood the nature of Atma, he was a Sanishta devotee. Sanishta means, though Nishta is there, Sanishta means he had many desires. But now, Sanishta, though he is a Sanishta devotee, because he has understood the nature of Atma, he has no work. But I am Parinishta devotee. I have you with me. I don't want anything. I am not hankering for anything. In fact, I prefer to go to the forest to beg. I don't want anything. Nakanksham Vijayam Krishna. I don't want anything. No Vijaya. I don't want any victory. I don't want any Rajya. I am not at all Lobha. I don't have any greed also. So I am such a Parinishta devotee. Then why you want me to engage in the prescribed actions? The prescribed action for a Kshatriya is to fight against harm. Kshatrayate Kshatriya. You are insisting that you should fight. You are insisting me to fight. You are asking me to perform a prescribed duty. On the contrary, at one place you say, a person who has seen his Atma or who has understood his self, for him no work, then why are you forcing me to do? Then Krishna is giving answer. What is the answer? Even Janak Maharaj, he also had me as son-in-law. He also has me as a son-in-law. He has a goddess of fortune as his own daughter. Karmaneva hi samsiddhim. He is so perfect. Samsiddhi means he has attained perfection. Astitaha sampurna rupena siddhi. He is a siddha purusha. Janak Maharaj is a siddha purusha. Janakadaya. There are so many great people like Janak Maharaj who have attained perfection in self-realization. The perfection in self-realization is to have wonderful relationship with Krishna. Krishna appearing as an in-law. What can be more perfection? The goddess of fortune appearing like a daughter. What can be more fortune? So, Janak Maharaj has attained some siddhim, but still to teach the people the actions to perform. Such great people also perform action. Loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Loka sangraham evapi. They consider the people in general, because it is only the higher authorities who can set an example, who can teach something. Now, if the higher authorities say that I am not obliged to anybody, I'll just give up all the work, I'll just go to the forest, then who is there to teach the people in general? That is why Janak Maharaj, even though Prabhu Ram went to the forest, he could have also gone along with him. But to teach the people in general, Janak Maharaj performed prescribed actions. The answer is given in 21st verse. Yad yada charati shreshthas tattare vetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Lokas tadanu vartate. Anuvartate means the people in general, they like to follow the great people. Yad idacharati shreshthas. A respectable person. Yad idacharati shreshthas tattate vetaro janah. Itaraha janah. Itaraha means a common person. Yeah. Yad idacharati shreshthas tattate vetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. So a Shreshta Purusha, he sets a pramana. Pramana means an example. He becomes an example. His actions are so exemplary. that a common person can also follow. Yad yadachariti shreshtas, whatever a great person does, the person who is dependent on that person also follows. In the Purport, Prabhupada writes, there are two people who are natural readers. Who are they? Parents and teachers. So their dependents naturally accept them as leaders, and whatever parents do, even the child tries to imitate. Whatever teacher does, even the child likes to imitate. So a teacher should set an example. When teacher is teaching something, naturally she should also follow. Then that teacher is known as Acharya. Acharatihi iti Acharya. If a person doesn't perform and just only teaches, he is only named teacher. But if he also follows and that teacher has got an elevated position, that teacher is known as Acharya. Now there are so many teachers who teaches. In one of the school it happened. One teacher was telling that not to inflict pain to the animals. Go on repeating it 10 times, not to inflict pain to the animals. After 10 times, the girl was so frustrated. She is a devotee girl. She said, you are asking us to repeat not to inflict pain to an animal. Are you eating chicken? She said, yes. Then chicken is what? How are you eating chicken? You are cutting chicken. How much pain the chicken will get? Now just see, teacher just now taught how much not to inflict pain to the animal. But what is her acharana? Exactly opposite to what she has taught. So, if a person is not following what he practices, that person is only a namesake teacher. His words will not be so effective. If the words has to be effective and the students have to follow, then that person has also to follow. So, a teacher and a mother, father, they are in a responsible position. There are dependents who are observing them. Children learn by observation. They are whole day observing their parents, how they are behaving. And that is how whatever standards a great person sets, that is automatically followed by the world. Further, Name patharsti kartavyam Trishu lokeshu kinchana Nanavaptamavaptavyam Varta eva cha karmani Name patharsti kartavyam Trishu lokeshu kinchana Nanavaptamavaptavyam Varta eva cha karmani. Krishna says, actually for me there is no prescribed duty. Prescribed duty is only to bring a person from an animalistic platform to a human platform. That is why so many sanskaras are kept, so that he will just not gratify the senses without any rules and regulations, without any restrictions. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the nature of an animal. So, if a person does not accept an authority, sanskara means performing some rituals, keeping some Devi Devatas in the center. Actually, every ritual, there is a yajna which is performed. Yajna Purusha is Krishna only. But a layman thinks that Devi Devata is in the center. But whenever you are performing an yajna, it is actually Vishnu is in the center. But a layman or a common man does not know. Okay, he is performing an yajna to please some Devi Devatas. At least he has started accepting an authority. Without accepting an authority, if you try to gratify your senses, whatever is available for sense gratification, you are just taking it and just trying to enjoy, then that person is on the animalistic platform. To come to a human platform, he has to perform prescribed duty. Now, Krishna says, what is prescribed duty for me? In fact, I am the one who has given this prescribed duty to everyone. Chatur Varanyam Maya Srishtam. Krishna says, I have created everything. So naturally, I don't have any prescribed duty. But still, and also Krishna says, I don't want anything. But still Krishna says, I am engaged in prescribed duty. Even I perform prescribed duty. Why? Because there are people who are observing me also. Oh, if God is only not doing, why should we do? He is a supreme person. If He is only not doing, then why we should do? Like Krishna did not go to school. Why should he go to school? In fact, when he went to school, Sandipani Muni, he circumambulated Krishna and Balaram and told, what am I going to teach you? It is from you that I am getting the knowledge. You are the source of knowledge. Sandipani Muni was scared when he saw, hey, what is this? I am going to teach Krishna and Balaram, who are the source of knowledge. Krishna is source for everything. He is the Adi. He is the source for everything. So, even then, Krishna goes to school. Why he goes to school? Because he wants to teach. That if we want to learn a knowledge, you have to go to school. Even for a material school, material education, there is a school. Then, spiritual education will come without a school. For that, we have to take the shelter of a sampradaya. It is very important. And Guru Parampara is very important. Krishna says, the Idam Parampara, this knowledge can be achieved only by Parampara. Without Parampara, this Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Jnana is very impossible. It is highly impossible to achieve without a Parampara. So now to teach a people, a common person, Krishna also has to perform. Krishna becomes the charioteer for Arjuna. Now Krishna is just obeying what Arjuna says. Ratham sthapya mechuta. Please take my chariot in between the two armies. Krishna takes. Krishna does not take part in the war. Krishna is observing everything. He could have also, he could have killed everybody easily. He could have destroyed within a fraction of a second. He need not have to do directly, he just have to order is one of the energies. Durga is enough. But Krishna is following the Maryada which has been set in the war. Everything has a rules and regulations. Krishna never tries to cross that boundary. Because that is how Krishna teaches, and also Krishna's devotees also teach. Like Haridas Thakur. He is Muslim by birth. But actually he is Brahma. Brahma incarnated as Haridas Thakur in the Chaitanya Leela. Now, he being a Muslim, he did not enter Jagannath Puri temple. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he told, you can go inside Haridas, you are Brahma himself. You are so pure, you are Namacharya. 192 rounds he used to chant sitting in the Bakul tree, Siddha Bakul tree. His ashram was Siddha Bakul ashram, small. He used to sit under a tree, a small place. And from there he used to see the flag of Jagannath Puri temple. Krishna used to say, you come inside. So, no, I will not cross the rules and regulations which has been set. Because if he crosses, then others also will cross. So whatever Maryada has been set up, Krishna has never crossed that boundaries to teach the people in general.
After Bakul tree, what you said?
Haridas Thakur used to sit under the Bakul tree and he used to see the flag of Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, why are you sitting from here and seeing the flag of Jagannath Puri? Why don't you enter the temple? He said, no, the rule has been only Hindus are allowed inside Jagannath Puri temple. If I violate the rule, then everybody will start violating the rule. So let not the rule be violated. Let me not do that. Because every rule has exemptions and all those things, but let me not violate that rules. So Lord, his devotees, they try to always follow the rules and regulations which has been set up for everybody, common people. If he has to perform this action, Krishna shows that. That is why Krishna says, for me actually there is no prescribed duty, but still I perform it. I perform such prescribed duty. Why? Yadi ham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandritah mama vatmanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashah. यदीहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः. Yadi iham na varteyam, if I don't do, Krishna says, if I don't perform the prescribed duties with care, atandritaha means with care, then mama vartman vartante, there are so many people who are following my path. Manushyaha, there are so many men who are following my path. So what they will do? They will also try to do the same thing. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, certainly all men would follow my path. As such, people in general are very, very lazy to perform prescribed duty. So they will get an excuse to say, oh, Krishna also doesn't do that. Then why I should do? That is why Krishna himself performs certain prescribed duties. Like in some places we see how Rama worshipped Lord Shiva. In Rameshwaram, Rama worshipped Lord Shiva. In fact, Lord Shiva's Aradhya Bhagavan is Rama. Then why should Rama perform worship to Lord Shiva? By this, Krishna shows that Lord Shiva is worshipable. You should worship Lord Shiva. So, who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is actually a great devotee. So, performing worship to the deity or worshipping a great devotee, there is no harm. But worshipping a great devotee for attaining some material benefit, that is foolishness. Worshipping a great devotee to attain Krishna, then there is no harm in that. And why did Rama perform Linga worship? Because he wanted to show that I am actually worshipping Lord Shiva so that I can get the strength to conquer Ravana. But do you think Lord Shiva can give strength to Rama, or Lord Shiva is gaining strength from Rama? He is gaining strength from Rama. But just to teach people in general that never disrespect any demigod. Sometimes even Lord also engages himself in the worship of a demigod. We should not disrespect a demigod. At the same time, a devotee is not obliged to worship a demigod because he doesn't want anything from demigod. And if he is not performing some prescribed duty to a demigod, demigods are not angry with the devotees, because the demigods know that the devotees are engaged in worshipping Krishna. And the demigods, they are all in the body of Krishna. So in this way, Krishna says, if I don't perform any prescribed duty, even the people in general, they are also following me. And what will happen to them? Utsideyuri me loka. Utsideyuri me loka. Na kuriyam karma chedaham. Sankarasya cha kartasyam. Upahanyami mam prajaha. So unwanted population will be aroused if I do not perform prescribed duties. Utsideyur ime loka. Utsideyur means the whole world will be put in ruination, because the people will also not perform any prescribed duty. One of the sanskara is Vivaha sanskara. Even Krishna performed Vivaha sanskara. Why should Krishna have this Vivaha sanskara? In fact, everybody belongs to Krishna only. But still Krishna performed this Vivaha sanskara. Even Krishna begot children. He had 10 sons from each queens. So now Krishna knows how to take care of his children also. Krishna has performed his prescribed duty. But for Krishna there is no prescribed duty, but still Krishna performs the sanskara. If Krishna does not perform the sanskara, people in general also will not do. They will have unrestricted sense enjoyment. So this unrestricted sense enjoyment will only create unwanted population. Now when all the Pandavas and Kauravas after the war, so many Pandavas from the side of Pandavas, from the side of Kauravas, so many people were dead. But then Krishna told them to perform Shraddha ceremony. They went to the banks of Ganga and performed the Shraddha ceremony. Because if all these things are not taught, then there will be no Shraddha. There will be no Shraddha. Then how will the forefathers be satisfied? Now in one place it is said, a person who is completely surrendered to Krishna, for him there is no duty. But still Krishna is showing that a person who is not self-realized, he has to perform these duties. And sometimes a self-realized person like Janak Maharaj also performs to teach people in general. Sankarasya sakartasya. So unwanted population will be created. Unwanted means uncared population. Such population will destroy the whole world. So sanskaras are very important. When a human is born, immediately there are sanskaras given to him. The sanskaras tell this to do, what not to do. Rules and regulations are set up in the sanskaras. If such sanskaras are not performed, then they are termed as mlechas. Sometimes Westerners are called as mlechas. But Shudras are not mlechas. You should understand it very nicely. At least Shudras, they come in the 4 Varnashrama. In the Varna, you have Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. A Shudra does the worship according to the modes, whatever he has got. He is accepting an authority according to the modes of nature, whatever a person has acquired. According to that, he is termed as a Shudra or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Brahmana. And the mode of worship also changes according to the mode of nature what he has got. But a person who is not coming in these 4 categories also, who does not come in these 4 categories, who does not accept any authority, he does whatever he wants. Like the hippies. When Srila Prabhupada went to the West, he got in touch with the hippies. When he came across with the hippies, he saw that the hippies, they are doing whatever comes in their mind, unrestricted sense enjoyment. So they were actually leading a animalistic life. Srila Prabhupada, who taught them Krishna Consciousness. Krishna Consciousness is directly like taking the lift and going to the top floor. And sanskaras are like you walking on the step and trying to come to the top floor. But in both the cases, the purpose is what? Either you take up directly Krishna Consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead, or at least perform the prescribed actions and accept an authority and then understand who is the authority for all the authorities? It is Lord Krishna. And then taking up Krishna Consciousness. So either you take a direct lift, that is Bhakti Yoga, or you take slowly from Karma Yoga, slowly Karma Kand, from Karma Kand, then understand what is Karma Yoga, and in this way take a step. But in all the places, if you see, the purification is there in both the cases. You accept Krishna, you directly accept Krishna, chant His name, serve the spiritual master, you are purified. You take up to the prescribed duty, you perform the rituals to please the Devi Devatas. Again, those actions are going to purify us. So in this way, Krishna says, if I do not perform, then the whole world would be put to ruin. So 25th verse onwards we'll do next time. Okay? Hare Krishna. Off.
Hindus are not allowed, non-Hindus are not allowed in so foreigners who are
Hindus